everyone. I am Gargi Chatterjee from Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, India. And today I am going to talk about the late Pleistocene and Holocene adaptation strategies of the central part of India with special reference to Chopani Mando, which is situated in Belan Valley. Here is the topic. The study area falls in the part of the Vindhyan region. Vindhya is a hilly tract actually. It comprises the parts of two states of India, Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. And this entire region is bounded by river Ganga on the north and river Son on the south. And the region is geographically divided into two parts. This is the entire Stone Age sequence of the study area and its adjoining parts. It started from the late Acheulean phase to Middle Paleolithic, Upper Paleolithic, Epipaleolithic, Mesolithic, Advanced Mesolithic and Neolithic. And we can see the respective dates as well in this present slide. But we can get the microlithic date, earlier microlithic date, which is 48 KYA from the site Dhaba, which is earlier than Upper Paleolithic, which is 39 KYA from Baghor. And it creates little bit confusion that how technologically microlithic technology came before Upper Paleolithic technology. And that could be interpreted by three possibilities. The first one is the very easiest possibility, that is the microlithic technology came after Middle Paleolithic technology and it evolved to Upper Paleolithic technology. But technologically, this possibility seems little confusing. And the second possibility could be that two technological branches had come in existence after Middle Paleolithic phase of Dhaba. One evolved to Upper Paleolithic, Epipaleolithic and Mesolithic, and the other branch evolved from Middle Paleolithic to Microlithic, and then it merged to Epipaleolithic or Mesolithic phase. And the third possibility is that two technologically ethnic groups of Upper Paleolithic and Microlithic came from the Middle Paleolithic phase of Dhaba, and the first one, which was evolved to Upper Paleolithic and then Epipaleolithic, and the second one which evolved to Microlithic, and it goes parallelly and individually from that Upper Paleolithic branch, and where they goes and where they evolved after that is not certain. And this point seems most logical to me. And some most challenging debates regarding the study area are: why was such continuous Stone Age occupation in this region? How did the Stone Age hominin manage to survive for such long? When the region was occupied by different technocultural groups, and for how long had they survived, either parallelly or individually? And who were the authors of the different technocultural groups? And through this present study, the first two questions have been attempted. And this is the entire region I am talking about, and the lower circled one is the Son Valley region, and the upper one is the Belan Valley region, and my topic is concentrated on the upper one, that is the Belan Valley region, and mostly on the Chopani Mando site. And this is the general view of the site Chopani Mando, which is situated on the old channel of the river Belan. And this is the section of the river Belan. And this is the cultural sequence and geological stratigraphy of Chopani Mando. The cultural sequence started from the Paleolithic up to Advanced Mesolithic. And if we can see the geological stratigraphy of the site, then we can see that mostly are sandy, silty and conker deposition here. So the sandy and silty depositions mostly showed the post-pluvial waterlogging situation, and the conker, actually the travertines kind of depositions, which shows the dry climatic conditions. So it seems that there were some light rain and means post-pluvial and eventually dry conditions were there in the site Chopani Mando during the late Pleistocene and early Holocene period. And this table shows the characteristic feature of the lithic assemblage of Chopanimando epipaleolithic phase, and the raw material used mostly, dominantly was chert, and the source of the raw material was Son Valley, and the finished tools are more than the unfinished tool types, and the dominant tool types variety among the finished tools are parallel sided blade and the scraper. And the next phase of this site was Mesolithic A phase. The dominant raw material was again chert, and the finished tools now decreased up to 12%, and the waste product increased up to 88%. And this was happening possibly because of trial and error in technologies, and probably that is why we can see some newly added tool types in this phase, and which I have written in red in the finished tool types. They are penknife, notched blade, broad and long blade, etc. But the dominant and second dominant varieties remained the same. They are the parallel sided blade and the scraper. In the next phase of the Chopanimando, the Mesolithic B phase, chart remained the dominant raw material. The finished tool type, the finished percentage again decreased, and this time the geometric shapes has arrived, and they are lunate, triangle and trapeze, we can see here. But the dominant and second dominant variety again remained the same, the parallel sided blade and the scraper. And these are the line drawings of the tools of epipaleolithic phase of Chopanimando. This is from Mesolithic A, and these are from Mesolithic B. Now, from the epipaleolithic phase of Chopanimando, we can't find anything except the stone tools. But from the Mesolithic phase A and B, we can find some other habitational evidence rather than the stone tools, and those are huts of circular shape, and which includes the post holes and the paved floors, and also we can find some fireplaces. This is the floor with post holes. The next phase of Chopanimando was the advanced Mesolithic phase. Raw material remained the same, chert, the dominant raw material, and the dominant and second dominant type of tools also remained the same, the parallel sided blade and the scraper. But in this phase, we can see the introduction of some other kind of tools like the sling ball, the querns, the Mueller and the ring stones, etc. These are the geometric macroliths from the advanced Mesolithic phase of Chopanimando. And these are the ring stone and the quern belongs to the same phase. We can find huts of round and oval shape from this phase again, but the different feature of this phase is that those huts are closely situated to each other, which seems that the sense of grouping or staying together or this kind of sense were developed from this phase. Besides the evidence of floor and the huts, peat huts, and the storage bins also introduced from this phase. Means most like a semi-sedentary life has been started from this phase. Now this is the plan view of the closely situated huts of the advanced Mesolithic phase of the site, which I was talking about. And this is a hearth with animal bone fragments. Again, peat hearth. And the other evidences from the advanced Mesolithic phase of Chopanimando are some potteries and also some charred and carbonized wild variety of rice. A single barrel-shaped stone beads has been introduced. So all of these things once again indicate a semi-sedentary lifestyle. The result of microwear analysis of Chopanimando tools point towards a gradual increase in exploitation of vegetal food, means vegetation. Also, the phytolith study of Chopanimando soil sample indicates the increase of the frequency of bamboo as well as different kind of grasses, but mostly bamboo, both hollow and solid variety. The different frequency of saddle and rondel type of phytoliths from the soil samples of Chopanimando suggests dry and moist climatic cycle, which concept has already been suggested by the geological stratigraphy as well. Now, if we gather all those information, all those data in a single frame, then we can understand that the site Chopani Mando comprises the detailed late Pleistocene and two early Holocene sequence. Now, to understand the late Pleistocene early Holocene adaptation strategies of Belan Valley complex, which was the topic of my presentation today, we need to compare it with the adjoining complexes of the same phase, that was the Son Valley complex and the Gangetic Plain complex. So here I am showing a brief comparison between these three complexes. I have put the Belan Valley in pink box, the Son Valley in the sky colored box, and the Gangetic Plain in the olive colored box. And if we pay our attention here, then we can see that the Son Valley complex, the characteristic feature of Son Valley was the open air and rock shelter settlement. Raw material source was Son Valley itself, and its tool assemblage was mostly microliths, geometric and non-geometric. Besides, some food processing tools were also introduced here. Potteries we can find here. And habitation evidences of habitation we also can find here, and some other objects such as beads, bone objects we also can see here. In Belan Valley, we also can find the open air and rock shelter settlement. Besides, the raw material source was Son Valley, and the microliths also found from here. The food processing tools were also introduced here. Pottery was also there. Here we can see an additional evidence, that is the evidence of charred rice. Evidence of habitation is also there. We can also get an additional evidence of burial, which is different from the Son Valley complex, from the Belan Valley complex. Besides, some other objects like stone beads, bone objects we also can find. The burial here I mentioned is not found from Chopani Mando but from Mahadaha, which is another site of Belan Valley actually. Whereas in Gangetic Plain, the settlement pattern was open air because there was scarcity of a hilly range. There was no range, that is a plain, alluvial plain region. And raw material source still was Son Valley. And the tools were microliths during this phase. And from here also we can find the evidence of charred grain from the site Damdama I have mentioned here. The evidence of habitation we can find, burials we can find, and other objects like bone, antler and ivory objects we also can find from Gangetic Plain. The red colored mentions in each box shows the peculiarity of those complexes. So we can see that more or less the characteristic features are same in three complexes. Besides, only the pottery we can see from Son Valley, Belan Valley in this particular phase, not from the Gangetic Plain. And that evidence of rise and burial we can find from Belan Valley and Gangetic Valley, but not from the Son Valley. Therefore, we can see here that the late Pleistocene, early Holocene phase of Belan Valley has come in front of us in a very elaborated form, and we can get every kind of semi-sedentary characteristic from here. Some of them are missing in Son Valley, some of them are missing in Gangetic Plain, but we can get every kind of features, a semi-sedentary adaptation feature from the Belan Valley complex. Now, if we pay our attention towards this sequence once again, then we can see northwards shifting of settlement center from late Upper Paleolithic onwards, which would more clear from this map, where we can see that the red circled, the lower one was the Son Valley complex, and the upper red circled one was Belan Valley complex. And after watching or after discussing all those points, we can understand that during the late Pleistocene and early Holocene phase, the settlement center has been shifted from Son Valley to Belan Valley region. And afterwards, the settlement center was again shifted towards Gangetic Plain during Neolithic phase. So it is clear that man gradually shifted northwards to the alluvial plain region from the hilly region of south and concentrated around water bodies far from the raw material source. because the raw materials source was Son Valley, which was situated in the hilly tracts of the southern part. But why they did so? Probably because the change of climatic condition changed the landscape as well, which had got its present stable shape by this time. And the existence of savanna along with the wild crops came in front, which possibly attracted those primitive men. And possibly man started to exploring and concentrate next to those plant food resource and also water bodies. And of course, the savanna grassland provided them wild crops. But how do they dare to distance themselves from the raw material source, which was their primary need? Probably they had a raw material versus crop exchange subsistence that time, because we know Son Valley was the raw material source, and the Belan Valley and Ganga Valley, we had evidence of the early crops. So possibly there was a group of early men stayed at Son Valley and started their journey from Son Valley to Belan Valley, then up to Ganga Valley, and gradually they shifted their center from one place to another, and in between they keep connecting with each other through such kind of raw material versus crop exchange subsistence. However, it is a hypothesis, but it has a very strong ground, and it's a very unique adaptation strategy of this region. This way, they stepped towards a settled form of life, which is a sedentary form of life, and probably the stable climatic condition changed their life and created a suitable environment for the growth of population, which further turned to the Neolithic sedentary life.